I'm Jay Neff, trainer for the California Thoroughbred Racing Club. This is part 2 of the first video in our series on the 2023 Kentucky Derby contenders. Part 1 focused on Forte's family and pedigree. Part 2 will focus on Forte's performance on the racetrack. Forte's most notable performance so far has been winning the 2022 Breeders' Cup Juvenile. Now, that pretty much automatically makes him the early favorite for the Kentucky Derby. It happens every year, but why, I don't know. In all the history of the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, only 2 of its winners have gone on to win the Kentucky Derby. Who were they? I'll post the answer to that question at the end of this video. Let's first take notice of the fact that Forte is trained by Todd Pletcher, who has won 2 Kentucky Derbies, but he's had something like 60 starters in the Derby, so it's not the greatest record, but he's one of the top trainers nonetheless. We looked at Forte's pedigree in our previous video, but let's make note of the auction results for Forte. He sold as a weanling at the Keeneland November sale of 2020 for $80,000. 11 months later, Keeneland September, he sold for $110,000 as a yearling. Forte has 5 starts lifetime. He started with a maiden special weight, 5 furlongs, which he won. Sanford Stakes, 6 furlongs, which he finished 4th. Hopeful Stakes, 7 furlongs, which he won. That's a Grade 1 race. Another Grade 1 Claiborne Breeders' Futurity. He won that one. That was a 1 1/16. And the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, of course, Grade 1, another 1 1/16 race. 5 starts as a 2-year-old, 4 wins, 3 Grade 1 stakes races, all of which he won. He finished that 2-year-old campaign with a very classy win in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. He showed himself capable of handling at least a little distance at a 1 1/16. I think this 2-year-old campaign is going to be just right for a horse heading into the Triple Crown season, with a little break after the Breeders' Cup in November. He has no recorded workouts yet as of January 14th, the date of the release of this video. 5 months ago, Forte ran in the 7-furlong Hopeful Stakes. Take note of 3 things in this race. 1, here he is in the post parade. You can see he's very green, he's shying, he's looking around at everything, see him checking out the other horses here. But once he was in the starting gate, he was all business. Secondly, as he showed us in the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, he likes to come from off the pace, and he has the stamina to put in a good, sharp final furlong to win a race. In the Juvenile, because it was a 1 1/16 race, they don't print the final furlong, but they do show the final 16th, which he ran in 6.2 seconds. Remember the standard of 12 seconds per furlong. Anything under 12 seconds is quite fast, and as you get towards the end of a race, and the longer the race, the more trying it is for the horse, anything around 12 seconds is really good. So he shows plenty of stamina here. A month before the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, Forte won the Claiborne Breeders' Cup Futurity at Keeneland, and in this race we see a little green behavior again deep in the stretch. He's lucky he didn't get disqualified over that little incident, but it does show a real competitive horse here in this stretch run where he goes head-to-head with Loggins and comes out the winner. We're going to compare stride length in all of the contenders for the Kentucky Derby that we look at in these videos. In his stretch run at the Breeders' Cup Juvenile, Forte takes about 14.5 strides in 1/16 of a mile. So we're going to do the math. 330 feet divided by 14.5 equals 22.75 feet. So keep this figure in mind, and after the winner of the Kentucky Derby is revealed, we'll see if stride length is a factor. Finally, I want to point out 2 things in confirmation on this horse. Forte has a relatively narrow chest. Compare that to Bob Baffert's horse that just won the Sham Stakes, Reincarnate. This is the best shot I could get. I'm sorry it's not a little better shot of his chest, but I think you can see the difference here. And you're likely to see this horse in the Derby this year in spite of the restrictions on Bob Baffert. The owners of this horse do have legitimate options to get him to the Derby. So my next video will be concerning this horse, Reincarnate. The second thing I notice here is that this horse has a good deep chest. So there's a lot of room there for heart and lungs, and that's what powers this animal. Forte's 5-race 2-year-old career has shown us a lot about this horse. He's got stamina, he's got speed, he knows how to win, and when he's up against it, he's got the heart to keep going. On behalf of the California Thoroughbred Racing Club, thank you for watching. If you'd like to be notified when the next video in this series comes out, just click the subscribe button. And here's some news and information about the Racing Club. Our Racing Club was designed to give racing fans an opportunity to own part of a racehorse. One small fee, no monthly payments, no accumulated bills or charges. A limited number of memberships are available for our 2023 2-year-old filly, Wicked Desire. She's by Omaha Beach, out of a half-sister to champion Lady Eli. Visit our website, www.californiaturfgroup.com, for details. Do you have an answer to our question? Who are the 2 horses that won both the Breeders' Cup Juvenile and the Kentucky Derby? Street Sense and Nyquist.